Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into quite a story from ancient texts. It's packed with some serious family drama, deception, and, destiny.
They're looking at that famous account of the twin brothers, Jacob and Esau.
Exactly. And their conflict over, well, something incredibly valuable, a patriarchal blessing.
And the source material we're drawing from today gives us excerpts focusing right on this event, the lead-up, the deception itself, and the immediate fallout within the family. It's quite detailed.
Right. So our mission here is to unpack what happened, look at the surprising details the source gives us, try to understand what was driving these characters.
And see how this birthright, and even more, this blessing, became the absolute core of a rivalry that, well, it shaped everything for them.
Yeah, it really did. So we're dropping into a pretty tense moment. The father, Isaac, he's old, he's blind.
Uh-huh. And he's getting ready to pass on this crucial blessing to his firstborn son.
Okay, so let's set that scene a bit more. Isaac, old and blind, calls for Esau, the older twin. What's the first move? What does Isaac tell him to do?
Well, Isaac seems to feel his time is short. So he calls Esau and says basically, take your bow and quiver, go out to the open country and hunt some wild game for me.
Okay, hunting.
And then prepare the kind of tasty food I like. The source is clear. The reason is so Isaac can eat it, and then give Esau the blessing meant for the firstborn, before he dies.
A very specific setup. The meal is tied directly to getting the blessing.
Exactly. It's like a ritual trigger for the succession.
And here's the twist. Rebekah, Isaac's wife, the twins' mother, she overhears this.
She does. And she doesn't waste any time. The moment Esau heads out hunting, she calls for Jacob, the younger son, the one she clearly favors.
And what does she tell Jacob?
She lays out exactly what she heard Isaac tell Esau: the hunt, the special meal, the blessing, and then boom, she presents her counterplan.
Which is basically, Jacob, you're getting this blessing, not Esau.
Spot on. She tells Jacob, go out to the flock now and bring me 2 choice young goats.
Goats, not wild game.
Right. Her plan is to cook those goats into Isaac's favorite kind of savory dish, completely bypassing Esau's whole hunting trip.
So she's replicating the end result, the meal, but swapping the person who provides it.
Precisely. She tells Jacob, you'll take this food to your father to eat so that he may give you his blessing before he dies.
Okay, but Jacob hesitates a bit, doesn't he? He sees a potential flaw in this plan.
He does. He raises a pretty practical concern. He says something like, but my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I have smooth skin.
Ah, the physical difference.
Yes. He's worried his father might touch him. And if he does, Isaac will realize it's a trick.
And instead of a blessing.
He'll get a curse. He's scared of the consequences if the deception fails. It shows he's aware of the risk involved.
Makes sense. But Rebekah, how does she react to his worry?
She's absolutely resolute.
Yep.
She basically shuts down his fear immediately. The source quotes her saying, my son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me. She takes the potential spiritual blow onto herself. It's quite a move. It removes Jacob's main objection.
That's intense. Let the curse fall on me.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jacob, hearing that, he goes along with it. He gets the goats.
Yes, he obeys. Rebekah takes the goats, prepares the food, the tasty meal Isaac loves. But the deception doesn't stop there.
Right, there's more to it.
She gets Esau's best clothes. The source notes they were in the house, which might imply they were special, maybe cleaner than his hunting gear.
And she puts these clothes on Jacob.
Uh-huh. And then there's this really specific, almost, tactile detail.
The goat skins.
Exactly. She takes the skins of the young goats and covers Jacob's hands and the smooth part of his neck.
Why do you think the source includes that specific detail? It feels very deliberate.
Oh, it's crucial. It shows how meticulous Rebekah was. She knew Isaac was blind and would rely on touch. The goat skins are specifically there to fake Esau's hairiness. It highlights just how far she went to make this physically believable.
It's a really elaborate disguise, then, playing on multiple senses. She hands Jacob the food, the bread.
And sends him in. The stage is set. Jacob goes to his father.
He announces himself, right. But Isaac seems suspicious almost immediately. What's his first question?
Even before the touching starts, Isaac asks, who are you? His voice must have given him pause. Are you my son Esau?
Wait, the source says, who are you, Esau or Jacob? He mentions both names.
Ah, yes. Apologies, the source says. Isaac asks, who are you, my son? Jacob says, I am here. And Isaac says, who are you? Jacob answers, it is Esau, your firstborn. Then Isaac asks, how did you find it so quickly, my son? Then Isaac asks him to come near to touch him, to see if he's really his son Esau or not. My mistake on the initial phrasing.
Okay, so Jacob says, it's Esau, your firstborn son. I've done as you told me. A direct lie.
A direct lie, yes. He keeps up the pretense about having hunted.
But Isaac's still not sure. He asks how he got the game so fast.
Right, the speed raises a red flag for Isaac. And Jacob's explanation, he kind of doubles down, attributing it to divine intervention. He says, the Lord your God gave me success, or put it in my path.
Wow. So Isaac asks him to come closer. Come near so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not. This is a big test for the goatskins.
This is the moment. Isaac reaches out, touches Jacob, and he immediately notices the mismatch. The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau.
The voice sounds like Jacob, but the hands feel like Esau. That's a direct contradiction.
It is, but the source says Isaac didn't recognize him because his hands were hairy like Esau's. The tactile sensation seems to be very powerful here.
So touch overrides hearing in this case.
It seems so, or at least creates enough doubt. Then Isaac asks Jacob to come near and kiss him.
Another sensory check.
Maybe. And when Jacob gets close, Isaac smells the clothes he's wearing, Esau's clothes. That smell, maybe of the outdoors, the field, it seems to clinch it for him.
So the feel of the goatskins plus the smell of Esau's clothes, that combination overcomes the sound of Jacob's voice.
Apparently. Isaac asks one final time, just to be absolutely sure, are you really my son Esau?
In Jacob's reply.
Again, simply, I am.
Convinced, or maybe just choosing to be convinced, Isaac asks for the food.
Right. Bring it near to me, so I may eat of my son's game, and so that I may give you my blessing. Jacob serves him the meal, gives him wine. Isaac eats and drinks.
Then the kiss again, maybe sealing the deal before the words are spoken.
Yes, after that kiss and smelling the clothes, Isaac pronounces the blessing.
And this blessing, it's not just a hope you have a nice life kind of thing. It's substantial, right? What does it include?
Oh, it's huge. It's a formal conferral of status and future prosperity. The source mentions things like, may God give you heaven's dew and earth's richness.
It's agricultural abundance, grain and new wine.
Exactly. And then power and dominion. May nations serve you and peoples bow down to you.
And crucially, the family hierarchy.
Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. It explicitly sets him up as the leader.
And that final part.
Yeah.
The curse and blessing reciprocity.
May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed. It links his fate directly to how others treat him. It's a powerful, comprehensive package.
Establishing him completely.
Yeah.
But the timing here is just agonizing. The source says as soon as Isaac finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had barely left.
Esau walks in. He's back from the hunt. He's prepared the food.
And he comes to Isaac, ready for the blessing he was promised. He says, my father, sit up and eat some of my game so that you may give me your blessing.
And Isaac asks him, who are you?
Esau replies, I am your son, your firstborn son, Esau.
That's the moment it all unravels for Isaac. What's his reaction?
The text describes something incredibly intense. Isaac trembled violently, a profound shock.
A physical reaction to the realization of the deception.
He asks, essentially, who was it then? Who hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came.
And I blessed him.
And then the devastating words for Esau. And indeed, he will be blessed, or yes, and he shall be blessed. It's done. Irreversible.
How does Esau take this news?
He cries out, the source says, a loud and bitter cry, utter anguish. He begs his father, bless me too, my father. But Isaac explains, your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing.
And Esau's response connects this to the past, doesn't it? He cries out about Jacob's name.
Right. He says, isn't he rightly named Jacob? Which can imply supplanter or heel grabber. He has deceived me these 2 times.
2 times.
He took my birthright, referring to that earlier incident with the stew, and now he's taken my blessing. He sees it as a pattern.
He feels cheated twice over. And he asks desperately, haven't you reserved any blessing for me? Is there anything left?
Isaac has to explain the scope of what he gave Jacob. He says basically, I've made him lord over you. All his relatives are servants. I've sustained him with grain and new wine. So what is left for me to do for you, my son?
He's saying the core blessing, the main inheritance, it's gone. There's nothing comparable left to give.
Which leads Esau to weep again. The source says he wept aloud and pleaded again.
But Isaac does give him a blessing just. A very different one.
Yes. What does Esau's blessing sound like?
It's almost the inverse of Jacob's in some ways. Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above.
So scarcity instead of abundance.
And you will live by the sword, a life of conflict perhaps. and you will serve your brother.
Serve his brother. That confirms Jacob's position. But wasn't there a sort of escape clause in Esau's blessing?
Yes, that's a fascinating part. Isaac adds, but when you grow restless, or when you decide to break free, you will throw his yoke from off your neck.
So servitude, but with a future possibility of rebellion or independence.
Exactly. It offers a glimmer of eventual freedom, even within a harsher destiny.
This whole ordeal, the trickery, the loss, it poisons the relationship permanently, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The source is very clear. Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him.
And it's not just a grudge, it turns into a plan.
A lethal one. Esau says to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near, that I will kill my brother Jacob."
Wow. He's planning murder, just waiting for Isaac to die.
And somehow, Rebekah finds out about this, about Esau's threat.
Of course she does. The orchestrator hears the deadly consequence. What does she do?
She acts fast again, but this time to save Jacob. She summons Jacob, tells him Esau is planning to kill him.
Her instructions.
Flee immediately. Go to her brother Laban in Haran, far away.
Stay there until Esau calms down.
Stay with him for a while, she says, until your brother's fury subsides. Wait until he forgets what Jacob did to him.
And she says she'll send word when it's safe to come back.
Right. And she adds this poignant line, worrying about losing both sons on the same day, maybe Jacob to murder and Esau to justice or vengeance afterwards.
That shows she understands the potential gravity. But wait, there's one more layer here. When she explains Jacob's departure to Isaac, she doesn't mention the death threat, does she?
No, not at all. Another bit of, let's say, information management.
What reason does she give Isaac?
She presents it as a concern about marriage. She tells Isaac, "I'm disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among them, my life won't be worth living."
So she frames sending Jacob to Haran as a way to find a suitable wife from their own relatives, completely hiding the fact that Jacob is fleeing for his life from his own brother.
Exactly. It's the official story for Isaac, masking the much darker, immediate reason for Jacob's flight. It adds yet another layer to the family's complex dynamics and, frankly, Rebekah's manipulations.
So we've walked through this incredibly intense saga. You've got the aging, vulnerable father, the calculated deception by the mother and her favorite son,
The hugely powerful blessing given under completely false pretenses,
the absolute heartbreak and bitter cry of Esau when he realizes what he's lost.
which then fuels this deep hatred, the murder plot, and forces Jacob to flee. It's relentless.
It really is. It's just filled with complex human stuff, family loyalty versus favoritism, the massive weight of tradition, the ripple effects of choices and deception.
And just the raw emotion, rivalry, betrayal, grief, it's all there.
When you think about this account, what really jumps out? Is it Rebekah's sheer determination, maybe Jacob's initial reluctance turned compliance, Isaac's blindness being exploited, or just Esau's raw deal?
It's hard to pick one thing. For me, it really highlights how these individual actions, driven by love, ambition, fear, how they tangle together. And whether you call it fate or just consequence, it shapes futures in ways that seem, well, almost set in stone after the fact.
Yeah, that's a great point. Which kind of leaves us with a big question to chew on from this deep dive, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Given all the deception, the manipulation, but also the seemingly fixed nature of the blessing once given, what does this story suggest? Was this destiny playing out using human flaws to get there? Or was the outcome purely a result of these specific, very human choices and actions? Where's the balance between, say, human agency and some kind of larger plan in this narrative? Something for you all to think about.